How far would you go to support a cause you believed in? Well, our next guest decided that she would bear all in the name of climate change.
Well, Laura Amherst has made the headlines last month for dancing topless across the city's capital during the two-week Impossible Rebellion protest, and she joins us now. And thank you for being here today. It's good to have you here.
You've got your... for having me.
You're very welcome. So these are your cards. They're protecting your modesty this morning. What drew you to be part of this process? I mean, I think we can all agree that there is an issue here with climate change, a huge issue, one that we need to sit up and pay attention to.
Yeah, well, the main driver really was when I read the latest IPCC report, and the climate science is very clear and it's very worrying. And as a mother, I worry about the future that our children are going to have in this world.
What was in that report that caught your attention?
Yeah, so if you read, there's about a 40-page document. It's a very long document, but there's an executive summary that you can read for policymakers, and it basically just details very clearly all the different the climate change factors, or the risks, basically.
So, totally understand that. That makes complete sense to me. I think for some people watching this now, they'll be going, right, I get what she's saying. Why do it topless?
Yeah, well, there's not really any kind of, specific reason for it. I mean, a couple of days before the first protest, I was meant to attend an event in Brighton called Free the Nipple. And it's basically a group of women, and they go around in Brighton and they go topless, and they don't have anything on their nipples, and it's for body positivity. It's to demonise, desexualise and normalise the human breast.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was really cool, and I thought, why not do that to feel liberated? And it was an extremely liberating experience.
Well, there's that aspect. There's the body positive aspect, which is incredibly important. Free the nipple, very important. All of those are going to get you headlines. For what you're doing, I mean, saving the planet, it is essentially down to getting yourself on the telly and getting headlines and drawing attention to the cause.
Yeah, well, it's about education, and it's about awareness, and it's about getting the right people's attention and getting influential people's attention that can potentially do more with the information, because for the common person, we can only do so much, and we really do need our governments to kind of step up and do what they need to do here.
And do you think it says something about our sensationalist culture in a way that a woman like you takes her clothes off in order to get attention for what is an extremely important cause? But it's a shame that people just don't have their ears open without having to have their eyes open.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, but the way that I see it as well is that people, well, not that there's anything wrong with this, but people kind of strip off or get naked or do these things for less than honourable causes, things that are not really important in the grand scheme of things. So I think why not use my assets and to the advantage of not only myself but to everyone else. But
isn't there something a bit depressing in that when you think, it is, as Holly said, this is such a vital cause to all of us, to our future as mankind, womankind, human beings on the planet, that you've got to take your top off before people are taking any interest, and you're sitting on the sofa.
Yeah, well, I think that's a reflection of the patriarchal society that we live in. I mean, in an ideal world, I wouldn't have to do that to get attention. In an ideal world, they would listen to my words. In an ideal world, they would listen to Extinction Rebellion's demands without us having to cause disruption in the centre of London. But unfortunately, this is the world we're living in.
And is this the same as far as the Insulate Britain campaign is concerned? Because that has been enormously controversial, partly because running onto a live motorway, you can cause a pile-up, you can get killed, you can kill other people. Yeah. I mean, a very valid protest. But is this where we are? You have to do something outrageous to get the point across.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that I just want to make the distinction that Extinction Rebellion isn't Insulate Britain. They're two different kind of organisations, and I'm going to stay neutral on Insulate Britain. I don't support, I wasn't there, I wasn't part of that, I wouldn't go on the motorway myself, but I do ask viewers, and I know that people are angry, and I know that people have got to put food on the table, and I completely understand that. I'm a mother, I'm working class, I don't have a lot of money, I understand these things, but can you just please take a second to understand the desperation and the urgency behind what they're doing, and the fact that there are even granddads and grandmas on the road, and they're risking their lives as as well to go out onto the motorway. They could get run over. Someone really angry could come and...
Do you think they should go to prison? Because that's what's talked about now.
That's not for me to decide. I'm not a judge. I don't have enough experience with that. But I guess, you know, thinking about it, and I've had conversations with this on my social media, Insulate Britain are not lying with what they say. Their message is good, but I get, you know, everyone would say that they should be held responsible for their actions and what their unintentional consequences of their actions, because I know for a fact that there's no intent to harm there.
And I guess as somebody that protests yourself, the most important thing is to keep people on side,
yeah,
isn't it? Well, and on side with what you're saying. You don't want the public to get annoyed or fed up, and then actually the message you're trying to get put through gets lost in the mix.
Yeah, well, it's a very fine line to tread because, as I say, you know, we've been peacefully protesting for 30 years, and the government has not listened. And you know, and there's this common misconception that people that protest and activists are just, you know, smelly hippies that just, you know, they're anarchists and they don't care and they've got no jobs and all of this kind of misconceptions. So I really want to bring a fresh flavour to it, and to say that activism is actually one of the most worthwhile things you can do as an individual, and get your children involved as well.
Laura, where are we now? Because, you know, every night on the news, I watched the news last night, and we're talking about the rural parts of India, which is reliant on coal. And if you take the coal away, then people can't eat, they can't cook. Countries move at different paces, and India is working very hard to change that. But where are we as a planet? Are we going to do this?
Well, to put it into context, so I'm going to say it because I know more about England and Great Britain, so that's where I do my research. I'm not as much in global, and I'm not the best person to speak to you about this. I have an A-level in environmental science, but I'm by no means an expert. But from the research that I have read in Great Britain, they done a review on with the government departments of what changes, what recommendations that they need to make, and they had 92 recommendations. So far, they have fulfilled 11 of those 92 recommendations. Insulate Britain were not lying when they said that we have 3 to 4 years. Can they fulfil all of those in the governmental departments? We're talking about Department of Health, Department of Industry, all the major governmental departments that need to do radical things with their energy usage.
The Prime Minister's in Washington at the moment. He's met Joe Biden on that seems to be one of the policies, climate change, that they do agree on. There could be something comes out of that. Do you see that as worthwhile?
Well, the reality is, and the stark reality is, and they're not going to like me saying this, but they're still investing in fossil fuels. They're still investing in projects in fossil fuels. So how can you say one thing and do another? You're really letting the public down.
And so you will continue to protest?
Absolutely.
Until change happens?
Absolutely.
It's getting colder in the winter, isn't it?
It is. It is. So if you would like me to not catch hypothermia, can you please do something?
Get involved.
Thank you. Thank you. It's lovely to meet
Thanks,
you.
Sarah.
Thank you very much.